Hey everybody, what does it mean to be fluent in English? This is a question that I get a lot, and actually I just watched a video this morning from a very successful English teacher online, and he kind of tried to answer this question. And so I sat down and I watched his lesson there, and I'm listening to him give this explanation about what does it mean to be fluent in English. And his answer was that being fluent in English means that you can speak well and easily. And my reaction as I'm watching this was, oh, I thought we were past this. I thought we'd grown past this as an industry of English teachers. Hey, Robin. It was very disappointing for me to hear somebody say that again, a professional, right? Say those kinds of things. Hey, Beth. So what does it mean to be fluent, right? So in my profession as an English teacher, being fluent is actually a word that we do not like to use because there's so much emotion and ideas behind that it's difficult to understand what it means to be fluent. What does this word mean, right? It can be very confusing. So in the profession, right, over the past 30 years or so, we have developed, hey Hernan, we've developed systems, right, to explain a person's proficiency or their ability. Hey Rebecca. And this proficiency, right, that we use, this is the word we use instead of fluency. This proficiency is measured in really specific ways. And so here's the example that I often give, right? So I'll often find people who can talk about, say, shopping. When they want to go to the store, they can go into the store and they can, read the signs and they can talk to the cashier pretty well. But when I ask them to talk about, say, cars, or talk about government, or talk about religion, suddenly they can't do it anymore, right? And their language, which was really good in that situation, is now almost incomprehensible, right? They can't talk at that level. So how does this work, right? So within the discipline, we have levels to this, right? And it analyzes and we evaluate a person's ability to speak English based on those levels. So we have a novice, an intermediate, an advanced, a superior, and then way, way up there, right? We've got a distinguished, okay? Now, what is good about this particular structure is that it doesn't matter if you are a native speaker or not, right? So the intermediate level speech, not an intermediate level speaker, but the intermediate level speech. So the way that you are talking or that I am talking can be an intermediate level speech, even though I'm a native speaker, right? So if I am speaking and using words in a way that is at the intermediate level, then that is intermediate level speech, even though I'm native, okay? Or if I use it at advanced, or even if I use it at novice, even though I'm a native speaker, I can say novice level things. Of course I can, right? With the way that we structure things. And the basic idea, this is a long thing, I could spend weeks talking about how complex all of these things are. But the basics are that when you're a novice, you have single word kind of responses going on. When you are a intermediate, you can ask and answer questions, you can tell about your day, you can have conversations, maybe tell really simple stories about the past or maybe stuff in the future. You can do those kinds of things, okay? Which is kind of what I'm doing right now about intermediate level speech. I'm explaining things, I'm telling you things, I'm not using ultra advanced vocabulary about, I don't know, linguistics or biology or chemistry. I'm not talking about those complex things. I'm just talking about simple life and some rules and how to speak, okay? That's intermediate level speech. So right now, most of what I've said so far is intermediate level speech, even though I'm a native speaker, okay? We getting this? Okay, that's how this works. If I want to go into an advanced level speech, right, now I need to start conjugating verbs and start talking into the past tense. What's that, Beth? So it depends how well do I know about a topic to be able to talk about it. Kind of, right? It's not necessarily the topic itself that helps you to speak well or not speak well. It has to do with how you can use the words. The level to which you understand the topic, of course, will affect your ability to talk about those things, right? So, for example, I can talk a lot about linguistics, right? Because I'm an English teacher, right? So inside of that area, I am easily a superior level speaker. I can push those things way up high. That language, I can get in those advanced vocabulary, technical jargon very quickly and very easily. Move me over to, say, cars and mechanics, not so much, right? I can't really talk clearly and easily about that kind of stuff. My vocabulary very quickly I get to probably about advanced, and then I'm kind of stuck. I can't really take those next step past that. Or say law, if I'm trying to have a discussion about an attorney and law and the judges and stuff like that. See, I'm already having a hard time. Like, what are these words? Because I am not that familiar with that topic. So yes, okay, those things are connected. But what we try and do is evaluate you and your speech, right, across multiple areas. So when we take a speaking test of some kind, it will, hey Jacqueline, when you take a speaking test in English, a good one, right, a proper one, they'll ask you some, and in novice level questions in one topic, and then intermediate level questions in one topic, and then advanced level questions in one topic, and then we'll back off, switch topics, ask some questions in that intermediate, and then move back up to advanced, and then back off, move to another topic, back up to advanced, back down, moved, and that way, right? So we're testing in multiple areas. Make sense, right? That's how we logic through all of these. And through that, we're able to evaluate what can you actually do with the language. So some people will be like, oh, well, I can make purchases. I can talk to people. I can tell people about my day. Oh, I can report about my family history or the car accident that happened down the street. Okay. Oh, good. You got it. Yay. Good. I'm glad that helped. So, but that's the basic idea. And these kinds of things, for me, it was when I first started as an English teacher, this was very frustrating because everywhere I looked, it was just like, oh, that's an advanced speaker, and this is an advanced speaker, and that's really hard, and this is really easy. And I was always like, says who? Why? How do you know? And they always put me, right, as the native speaker. Oh, I can always speak better than other people. And I'm like, no, that's not true. I know non-native speakers who, in law, for example, can speak better than I can. And they are not native speakers. Why? Because they know what they're talking about. They know the words. They know the grammar. They know the structure in that area. So within that area, they are actually better speakers than I am. And that's fine because we're evaluating the speech itself, right? They're able to produce speech that is at a higher quality than I can produce. And that's okay, right? And I'm okay with that. I am not offended. It's okay. But that's the idea, right? And I struggled with that when I first started into this profession, right, of being a teacher. How do I know? How says who? And I remember going to a training, kind of being a little irritated because the training was about how do you rate people and say whether or not they're good or bad at English. And I'm like, ugh. More people trying to judge other people in their English and put everybody down because they don't speak English like a native. And it was actually at that meeting that my mind was changed and I was shown that we actually have a system for judging the quality of the speech or the complexity of the speech. Is it advanced? Is it intermediate? Is it superior? What do all of those things consist of? And says who and why? And how can we be sure? And to have actual verifiable scientific research that's been proven over the past 20 years that this really does work. Is it perfect? No, it is not perfect. Do we know of anything better? No, we do not. This really is the best system that's pretty much ever been built for language things. There might be something better in the future, but so far this is the best we have. And it's really, really very good. So that was kind of the thing for me. I kind of hit that, and I realized these new things, and I've been applying it ever since, helping my students in these different ways. And that's how I teach my classes, right? I'm always trying to help people understand the path and then push, right, to that path. Okay, you're speaking really well at this intermediate level. Now take that topic. Yeah, okay, now let's make it advanced. Now you know how to tell me about... I was in class today and we were talking about hunting, right? So hunting animals, is it good or bad? Oh, well, it's bad. Okay, why? Let's push that up just a little bit harder, okay? Okay, well, tell me an experience in your past that helped you understand that. Okay, now we're in the past tense. That's an advanced level speech, okay? Now, you did that really well. Let's go even higher, okay? Well, what would be the implications of applying a new law onto hunting that would outlaw hunting across the entire country? What would be the consequences of that? Okay, see how suddenly that question got really hard. That's because that's a superior level question. And as we work through these levels and as we speak through things, it helps people express their ideas more clearly inside of the classroom, right? We're practicing so that we can get better. And this is something that has helped so many of my students realize what needs to happen. And I had this on my own situation when I was learning Portuguese. I could speak really well, and I was talking, and it was great. And the lady asked a superior level question, and it was really awkward for me, and I kind of broke down. And I'm like, I don't know what to say. And I kind of failed that test. Not because I couldn't perform at that level, but because I didn't know that I was supposed to perform at that level. And that is why I tell people about this so much, okay? So when people ask you really difficult, abstract kind of questions, they're probably doing it for a reason, right? At least the English teachers are. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. What does it mean to be fluent in English? I don't even use that word anymore because it's too hard to define. We use a completely different structure. The professional English teachers use a completely different structure, and we call it proficiency. Proficiency is something we can measure. It's something we can calculate. We have numbers for this, and it's really very good. So if you have any questions about that, post down here in the comments, and I would love to answer your questions about this. This is a topic that I kind of enjoy, and I will talk to you guys another day, okay? Bye, thanks.